All right, welcome back to our remote production course. We're finally digging into the hardware tools. We can't do all of this without some level of hardware. Let's jump into it. So again, in the book, we jump into a lot of these in more detail. I'm going to go over a high level of all of this stuff. I'm going to take you on a little tour of our studio, and we're going to show how I'm basically using all of this technology right now just to put on this recording, and then bringing it all to the cloud is the important part, I think. So you're going to need cameras. You're probably going to need audio mixers. Encoders and decoders, maybe not, right? Cameras can be encoders these days. Cloud-based endpoints can be a decoder. But you're probably going to need some type of controller. You're going to need networking equipment. So let's go over some of this and show why it's essential for seamless broadcasting and getting the right hardware at the right time. So one of the keys here is the cloud solution, right? Being able to reliably control all of this. And so as we have devices in our cloud-based, remote production solution, managing them and monitoring them is going to be key. And I want to show how in Hive, for example, each of the devices that we've connected to Hive are remotely manageable. So we can monitor them, we can set them up, we can test them, we can make sure they're coming in at the right solutions. And this is all super important. The ability to just remotely reboot a camera, remotely set up a camera, etc., is something that you just got to do when you're in remote production. So showing how you can manage both your video devices and your audio devices and coming in and making sure that everything is set up. Now, PTZ cameras obviously are a big part of remote production. And you can see this PTZ camera here is set up using this PTZ camera in part of my my setup today. And you can see that it's connected to the Ethernet and it's part of my production. I've also over here got a different camera. This is the PTZOptics Studio Pro. And this camera is also connected to the network. And most of this is all happening over NDI, bringing it all in, mixing it all together with vMix on a local area network. But it's as easy as clicking the share button and adding more people to attack this and work with it over the wide area network to do remote production. So I always like to just kind of do a little bit of a demo there, showing you that the camera itself is encoding raw video and then sending it out to Hive, which is decoding it and bringing it back to you in the world. Now, I'll show you some hardware encoders and decoders here that I have in front of me to give you some real examples here. Now, this was the first capture device I ever had, and this was a powerful 4-port SDI capture card that was put into a Thunderbolt enclosure, so you could connect. And these I think are still used, but maybe not quite as much with IP video. You can connect a Thunderbolt connection to your computer. Thunderbolt has really high bit rate of 40 megabits, and so you could bring in 3G SDI, 3 gigabits per channel here, right? So 3, 6, 12 gigabits of data through this port. So mainly uncompressed video. Bring it into a production switcher, which is computer-based, like vMix, OBS, which has really become popular these days, and take those and essentially encode them and stream them, right? So take all those video sources, connect them to a computer, which is going to then encode the video into RTMP and stream it to the cloud. Now, in smaller scenarios, you might just need 1 or 2 cameras. And this right here is a Magewell HDMI capture card. It takes HDMI in, outputs USB, and you can just plug that into your computer and then capture video that way. This is a KiloView decoder, all right? So you can encode video, you can also decode video. What this does is it takes your NDI, this is an NDI decoder, it takes the NDI output and outputs HDMI so that we can then put the NDI output on a big screen. And I do this in my studio so I can see on a big screen what the production is doing. But you can use this in a lot of different ways to show decoding. So that's one. I got one more cool encoder decoder because I showed kind of the basics ones. Epiphan has some amazing encoder decoder solutions. It's almost like a little computer with a touchscreen that does the encode decode. And I bring this up because Epiphan has a wonderful remote management and remote production workflow for managing these encoders and decoders together. So just wanted to give you some like real examples of these as we go and learn how to remotely manage all of this in the cloud. So for remote production, one of the great things about PTZ cameras is that they're very easy to get on the network, right? We can plug it in with an Ethernet cable. It can power the camera. It can control the camera. We can easily set a static IP address for it. And we can use NDI built into these cameras to start using IP video. And it's very low latency and high quality. How are we going to control these cameras? Well, we looked at the web-based PTZ controller, which is a great start, but we can also use Stream Decks. We can also use PTZ joystick controllers, and all of that is cloud-ready technology that we can get into our production systems. Now, I was looking at the Pearl earlier, and I want to talk a little bit about this. The Pearls have multiple video inputs. And let me see if I can open up my Pearl here and show you this. I love these devices. They're just so powerful. This device right here has two HDMI inputs. It's got an SDI input, and it has some XLR inputs. So this is called the Epiphan Pearl Nano. And these rack-mounted units you're seeing on the screen are the Epiphan Pearl 2s. But these bring all your hardware video sources together, connect them to the network, allow you to remotely control them. So Epiphan has got a great encoder decoder solution. Magewell has got a really great cloud solution for using multiple devices. And KiloView and Matrox all have IP video cloud solutions for remote production, and they're outlined in more detail in the book. Now, when it comes to controllers, I'm a big X-Keys fan. X-Keys can be totally customizable, and they're made in the USA. They're very robust and powerful. The Stream Deck is a good solution. It's intuitive. You can customize the whole thing. And there's also, joystick controllers that will control the cameras and give you really robust experience. Now, from a networking perspective, we've talked about this in depth in this course, so I don't need to go over this too much, but you've got all of your different solutions. One thing we haven't touched on too much is the cellular bonding and the ability to get connectivity to your networking gear, right? You don't always have a dedicated router with an internet service provider connection. Sometimes you got to bring your own cellular bonded network connectivity to the location that you're going to be streaming from. And I would highly recommend looking into Speedify, which gives you the ability to bond multiple cellular connections, multiple phones together, so that you can use all of that in a single production. Now, we have looked a lot at the PreSonus Studio Live, and the reason why is because they're really one of the leaders of remote production and giving you that remote-ready audio mix solution that they don't even charge for, by the way. It literally is a peer-to-peer networking solution called PreSonus Metro. I haven't seen anything else like it, which is why I keep focusing on it for this video. But obviously, audio mixers, the hardware you put in, you're gonna need microphones, right? A lot of times we're adapting on-site audio mixers that are already there and finding a way to connect them to the cloud. And that can be done with something as simple as a USB audio interface, which will take the output of a larger audio mixer, connect it to USB to a computer that can then get that audio to the cloud. So some of the key takeaways is obviously hardware is the backbone of your remote production solution. So many pieces of hardware can be connected to the cloud these days. You're just going to have to decide whether the hardware is a true edge device, like a Hive-linked camera that can truly go directly to the cloud, or if another encoder decoder solution like the Epiphan Pearl is necessary to bridge the gap between your hardware like the HDMI, the SDI, the XLR connections on a Pearl that can connect those up to the cloud for your remote management. So hopefully that was helpful. We've got a couple more videos in this course. I hope you're learning a lot. You've got a lot to research. Remember, the book is where a lot of these key details are discussed and additional resources are. So don't forget to get your copy, and I'll see you in the next video.